This Hexy gang back to the jungles of the South Pacific, back on New Britain Island. Well, the Marines didn't like that first attempt to take the No Name Creek. We're still calling it that, even though that's not what it's actually called. But we don't want to offend YouTube. They don't like that stuff, so we're not going to say it. So they decided to come back on January 3rd. And so the game is 8 turns long, so we're just going to split it 4 and 4. We'll call the first 4 January 3rd, which we just completed. This time they brought some armored buddies with them. A couple of Shermans sitting right here. And they got some decent firepower. And if I could ever freaking hit with them, which I think I fired 8 times with those 2 guys. And I think I've only had a successful die roll 3 times. The infantry's all the Marines on the ground are having to do the work. But little trick to this game here is you have this unit underneath here. We'll get him out of the way for a second. The bulldozer, all right? And the bulldozer right there, he's got to, what they did was they had to level the downgrade coming into this little shallow river here, which is completely crossable, but the tanks couldn't get down in there until they leveled out the entrance and the exit. So how you do that is you move that bulldozer and it costs him 3 movement points. Then on the next turn, if he's still in there and he's not been suppressed, you can, I think it's like, use everything he's got, and you turn him sideways, and that means he's done the work. So now these tanks will be able to move across the river right there. All right. Now that guy can take a casualty, which means the driver of the bulldozer, which is just probably one guy, which you read the designer's notes about it, 2 or 3 guys got shot trying to operate that bulldozer. Can you imagine doing that under fire? Sitting up on top of a bulldozer that had no armor protection other than the blade in front of it. But he's got the blade on the ground trying to cut a path for these tanks to get through. So the objective is for this thing is to get 2 American units, non-decoy units, off the south edge of the map down here. And I got to tell you, right off the bat, they were successful and they took the bunker here. They just took this bunker down here and destroyed the unit in there. They got 2 hits on it. They took a hit, but they were a full strength Marine squad, so they're just reduced. And they took this one here, but the Japanese threw them out and took it back. Okay, the route phases can be just painful in this game here. So I had a couple questions already. You know what? I tell you what, I'm going to save those till I do the final report and do a little after action review on the battle here. So the Americans have 2 artilleries. They have off-board heavy mortars, 80 millimeter, and they've got some 100 millimeter. And they've been pretty effective. I've been dropping them in this area right in here, trying to soften up. And you don't want to, you can't voluntarily drop one because wherever it lands, the 6 hexes around it they're also going to get hit with the artillery. So you can't drop one that would affect you're not going to do it to your friendly units. And your tanks can't drive into one of those hexes that has it. So I've always, no big deal right now because they haven't even crossed the river yet. And in most games, these tanks can't move into the jungle, but in this game here, they can. It costs half their movement point to move in there, half their movement points to move into a jungle hex. So this guy here started just here in the open. The bulldozer was behind him. He moved through. This tank he's sitting here in the kunai, so they're both okay. They've been putting fire on this bunker since it started. Like I said, they drove the Japanese out of the first time, but the Japanese reoccupied it. Really not making any attempt over here. Matter of fact, I'm pulling the troops out, try to get them over here because I need to get through here. Now, the Japanese don't really have anything that can stop them tanks but one unit. And I've been keeping him sitting back here. It's a SATT unit, so he's got anti-tank capability. It's man-operated, handheld. So I'm keeping him back here. Somewhere along the line, though, I'm afraid the artillery is going to get on him. But you got to have a spotter to hit him. And right now, the only hex I can spot, he's here now. So now I can spot this hex and this hex. So if I could get it to land in there and not scatter too far away, he could be affected by the artillery. We'll find out on the next turn. May have to get him moved. But like I said, I've been keeping him back because he's the only thing. And he can't shoot. He can only engage targets that are south of the river. So he can't even shoot these tanks until they come across and get across the river here. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I think the Marines were successful in this. Let's see. Up the line, third, found at the Banks Creek, too steep. And it just talks about that. Now, let's see. The attack continued on January 3rd with the same results, more dead and wounded and very little gained. A forge across the creek into the jungle beyond was met with a withering fire from hidden Japanese machine guns. Apparently, I don't think this was a success too, but we'll see if we can't change that. So, Band of Brothers, the Old Breed box, South Pacific, we're playing scenario 64, Ride of the Valkyrie. And we're going to finish this thing off and follow up and let you know how this thing ended and ask a few questions. Talk to you soon.